What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Metharoma, entitled Pipe Dreams Through the Alley. This is released on New Standard Elite. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of both the US and Germany, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, contemporary, drug-fueled style of brutal death metal. Yeah. When I first heard about this band coming to life, I was very, very excited and intrigued to hear how things were going to go. Because this was a band that features a who's who of names from within the world of brutal death metal. Some well-known names and some very prolific names. Names that come to mind would be Jacob Schmidt, whom you probably know best from Defeated Sanity, Kyle Christman, whom you know from bands like Human Filleted and Gorgasm, Brian Forg, the prolific part of the band because of his lion's share of work with bands such as Syphilic and Gut Rot, two genius bands, I must say, and Ben Kitchen from bands like Sarcophagy and most recently with Inebriated. All very talented guys who know exactly what they're doing and know what kind of music they create. And to have all of those minds come together to create music and create a new band was very, very exciting. And upon the first couple of singles that got released from this album, I was very interested in hearing how this band would sound, and they have this very brutal, almost clean and contemporary sort of delivery to their sound. I mean, it feels brutal, but it also feels brand new and fresh. That's the vibe I got off of some of the songs I heard off of this record. But here we are with the debut full-length from Metharoma entitled Pipe Dreams Through the Alley. It's 12 tracks, and it clocks in at around 37 minutes in length. And pretty much this band is an amalgamation of all of these guys' immense talents coming together to create something very, very new and fresh. Very explosive in nature, very clean, very well executed. And I definitely would love to hear more from this band in the future if they should decide to make more music. And I think they should make more music because this band's style and delivery is just very top-notch. Guitar-wise, Brian does a lot of the guitar work on this album, and his guitar playing is just super top-notch here. Very wild and crazy and chaotic riffs and chords being played throughout this album. Done very well, very tastefully, and of course, with the kind of mindset that he has for creating great guitar riffs, he does so throughout the majority of this album. With the first couple of tracks like Persistent Stringency and Gaseous Delicacy, to later songs like Fentanyl and In the Locker Room, and towards the closing moments of the album with songs like Clandestine Study and Correct and Rehabilitate. There's some really wild weavings going on here with Brian's guitar playing, and I think it sounds phenomenal. It is one of the best parts about this album. The bass work, too, is very good, too. Can't count out Jacob Schmidt's bass work on here because he's a really good bass player here. You can definitely hear his bass guitar playing very well, and it is a nice complement to Brian's guitar riffs that appear throughout this album. Very good bass tone, very well produced, very well mixed throughout this entire album. Kyle's drumming on here is very, very good. I think his drumming pedigree speaks for itself, but here on this album, it definitely feels very much on point, very fast-paced, very brisk, very well executed, great snare tone, great blast beats, a lot of high-tempo energy coming out of his drum performance, and it's crazy to know that he can still manage to pull off a fantastic drum performance. Whether he's in a band or whether he's in a project like Metharoma, I think his drum performance is very, very top-notch here. And when it comes to the vocals are very, very awesome. In some instances, the vocals are very well worded and very well understood, and then the vocals begin to get a little bit more lower and deeper and more guttural. I think there's a really good sense of diversity in these vocal tones. I think it's very entertaining, definitely commands your attention throughout the majority of this album, and I think these vocals are very, very entertaining. This guy is a good vocalist. So overall, This is a very, very impressive debut album. I love the themes. I love the concepts. I love the musicianship. I love the production values. This is definitely a very contemporary piece of modern brutal death metal going on here, and I definitely see big things for Metharoma in the future should they decide to continue to make more music. I think they should continue to make more music because it is very, very entertaining. If you're a fan of all the bands that these guys are in, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy something like Pipe Dreams, because I think this is a very, very impressive debut album. So, if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Persistent Astringency, Gaseous Delicacy, Self-Preservation, Fentanyl, Cabin Fever, Streets of Recovery. Some really, really strong songs to be heard throughout this entire album. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the new Standard Elite Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it by digitally. It is available physically as a CD. There are also merchandise options available if you want to hook yourself up with a CD and a shirt combo. I'll leave you links to all of that in the description box. So, again, the album is Pipe Dreams, Through the Alley by Metharoma. This is released on New Standard Elite. Definitely check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Very memorable debut from some guys who know exactly what they're doing when it comes to creating great brutal death metal music. So, if you've happened to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it. Or any of you guys into Metharoma, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Army Hell out.